Diana's lips trailed down her neck, teeth scraping lightly over her pulse point. "I could lose my job for this," she murmured, but the way her fingers dug into Gabriella's hips suggested she didn't care. Gabriella gasped as Diana's thigh pressed between her legs, fabric rough, friction perfect, and arched into it shamelessly. "Then fire me," she dared, voice trembling. A low laugh vibrated against her skin as Diana nipped at her jaw. "Oh, sweetheart," she whispered, pulling back just enough to meet Gabriella's hazy gaze. "You have no idea what you're asking for." The warning sent a thrill down Gabriella's spine, equal parts terror and anticipation, before Diana's mouth crashed into hers again, swallowing any reply she might have had. The office tilted as Diana spun them, pressing Gabriella onto the desk with a thud that sent pens rolling. Diana dragged her teeth along Gabriella's collarbone, one hand sliding up her thigh with deliberate slowness. "You're shaking," she observed, voice thick with amusement, but Gabriella could feel the tremor in Diana's fingers too, barely restrained hunger humming beneath her skin. Diana acknowledges the professional risk of their encounter but disregards it, escalating their physical intensity by pressing Gabriella onto the desk. Despite their mutual trembling, Diana from restraint, Gabriella from anticipation, the teacher's predatory control holds as she teases Gabriella with slow, deliberate touches, savoring her reactions. Somewhere beyond the locked door, footsteps echoed in the hallway. Gabriella tensed, but Diana merely hooked a finger under her chin, forcing eye contact. "Focus on me," she ordered, her other hand finally slipping past the lace barrier. Gabriella's gasp fractured into a moan as Diana's fingers curled inside her, relentless. "That's it," Diana murmured, her breath hot against Gabriella's ear. "Let me hear you." The world narrowed to the slick slide of Diana's fingers, the sharp sting of teeth on her shoulder, the shuddering pressure building low in her stomach. Distantly, Gabriella registered the sound of her own voice, high, broken, begging without words. Diana's answering growl sent her over the edge, stars exploding behind her eyelids as she clutched at Diana's blouse, anchor, and storm all at once. When Gabriella came back to herself, Diana was watching her with something dangerously close to tenderness, thumb brushing a bead of sweat from her temple. The office was still locked, the hallway silent, but the air between them crackled with something new, undeniable, terrifying. Diana pressed a kiss to the inside of Gabriella's wrist, her lips lingering like a question. Despite the risk of being overheard, Diana commands Gabriella's full attention as she brings her to climax with relentless precision. Afterward, Diana's uncharacteristic tenderness unsettles Gabriella, their connection deepening beyond physicality as a charged silence lingers between them, both uncertain but irrevocably changed. "You should go," Diana said finally, voice rough, though her fingers still tangled possessively in Gabriella's hair. Outside, the fluorescent lights buzzed like a warning. Gabriella nodded, legs unsteady as she slid off the desk, but Diana caught her wrist at the last second. "Thursday," she murmured, eyes dark with promise. "Be late." Gabriella's breath hitched. The door clicked shut behind her, but the ghost of Diana's touch lingered. A brand, a secret, the beginning of something irrevocable. She barely made it back to her dorm before her phone buzzed. One message. "You taste like trouble and cheap dorm coffee." Gabriella's fingers trembled over the screen, typing and deleting 3 replies before settling on, "You're grading on a curve." The reply was instantaneous. "I don't play fair." Thursday arrived with storm clouds and Gabriella's pulse thundering in her ears. She lingered outside the lecture hall counting the minutes until Diana's voice, sharp, amused, cut through the chatter inside. "Miss Vasquez, how predictable of you to be late." The class tittered, but Diana's smirk was a private thing, just for her. Gabriella's knees went weak. Diana dismisses Gabriella but arranges a covert Thursday meeting under the guise of tardiness. Gabriella receives a flirtatious text from Diana that leaves her flustered, heightening anticipation. When Thursday arrives, their public interaction, Diana's scolding tone masking their secret, sends Gabriella's pulse racing as the charade begins. Diana and Gabriella continue their encounter despite interruption, their physical connection deepening into mutual vulnerability. After arranging a Thursday meeting, their public interactions become charged performances. Diana's stern teacher act contrasting with Gabriella's racing pulse, while private texts heighten anticipation. The lecture dissolved into white noise. All she could focus on was the way Diana's fingers curled around the chalk, the deliberate arch of her back as she reached for the board, the knowing glance thrown over her shoulder when Gabriella bit her lip. Halfway through, Diana dropped the chalk, on purpose, and bent to retrieve it, slow, torturous. The gasp Gabriella choked down tasted like surrender. After class, Diana vanished before Gabriella could even stand. But when she opened her textbook in the library later, a folded slip of paper fell into her lap. Bathroom, 3rd floor, 5 minutes. The ink smudged under her thumb, fresh. The clock ticked louder with every step she took toward the deserted hallway, her shoes squeaking on linoleum. Diana was already there, leaning against the sinks with her blouse unbuttoned one more than necessary. "Lock the door," she ordered, toeing off her heels. Gabriella fumbled with the latch, her breath hitching when Diana's hands landed on her hips, spinning her roughly toward the mirror. "Watch," Diana breathed against her neck, fingers hooking under the waistband of Gabriella's skirt. "Watch what I do to you." Diana taunts Gabriella during lecture with deliberate provocations, lingering touches, calculated glances, before slipping away unnoticed. A covert note directs Gabriella to a 3rd-floor bathroom where Diana waits, already dishevelled, and commands her to witness their encounter in the mirror as she takes control once more. The first touch was electric, Diana's palm sliding up her thigh, nails scraping sensitive skin. Gabriella's reflection flushed crimson as Diana's other hand twisted in her hair, yanking just enough to make her whimper. "You want this," Diana murmured. Not a question, her teeth grazing Gabriella's earlobe. The stall door rattled in the sudden silence. Neither of them moved.